Alright guys, we're back again for chapter 2 of Return to the Reverie. Chapter 1 was fantastic and I expect chapter 2 to be even better. Something I want to clarify or clear up based on the last chapter and just having conversations with people. I had mentioned that some of the things in a chapter can't come to fruition because they've gone a different route. That was not correct. With Dragon showing up to the Reverie, we saw him at the end back at Kamabaka Kingdom. That's not saying he was never there. He could have gotten back to Kamabaka Kingdom after the fact. So something could have happened in between then. So therefore that is still valid. Just wanted to clear that up before we get into chapter 2, but without further ado, let's talk about this new chapter of Return to the Reverie. Last week I didn't show any love to the cover page, and that's my apologies. These are custom works. Every chapter I believe will have a different artist. This one is with Reiju, and she's modeling clothing for the eccentric Peacock. So that's actually pretty dope. I just love the effort that's been put forth for this project. So I want to give it as much love and respect as possible. So I will talk about the cover pages going forward with each chapter. I think off rip, right? The first page, I absolutely loved the Bonney shot. It feels like a continuation of the actual One Piece chapter, like right where we left off at the Reverie, where Bonney was actually talking about Kuma and we were speculating the possible relation. So having that Bonney shot is perfect. Bonney is one of the more interesting supernova that we know little about. So seeing her here and finding out so much about her, I loved it. Judging off of what we know about Bonney, right? And speculating that she was trying to save Kuma, it pretty much confirmed. Her working with the revolutionaries in this chapter makes a ton of sense. I love the fact that they utilized the devil fruits of Morley and Karasu to basically figure out where Bonney was and to abduct her forcefully, but also showing that they're willing to help. The connection is not one I initially made as far as Bonney working with the revolutionaries, but seeing it here makes a lot of sense. They both have the same goal, and I love the detail added in as far as like Bonney being the Queen Dowager of the Sorbet Kingdom and the history tied to that as far as the Germa ruling the north and the Sorbet ruling the south. The name reveal was fantastic. Bartholomew Connie saying that Kuma is actually Bonney's son. Bonney did tear up when she saw Kuma in chains and being treated like a slave, so it being her son is actually pretty cool. I can't lie, that's actually a really cool concept. Her devil fruit, the age fruit, it has made her immune to the effects of aging and natural death, right? So that's a pretty broken devil fruit. Again, detail in which it mentions Bonney's hunger, in which she doesn't suffer the effect of that, but it makes her stomach insatiable. Essentially, she can eat and eat and eat without feeling like she's full. The Queen Dowager title, due to how long she lived, she did it without a king. That's why she was bestowed that title. And it's crazy because there's so much lore being built up here in regards to the origins of the Sorbet Kingdom. Pretty much it said that it was originally formed as an alliance of the nations in the south, and it was to supposedly stop a purge led by a certain clan. I'm sure we're going to get more details on this in the upcoming chapters, but when I think of purge, I think of Imusama and what he had planned for the world to combat people that were trying to purge the world, specifically the south. We go into Kuma's backstory a bit. As far as Bartholomew Bonney feeling like her kingdom had lost power, so she felt like Kuma could make it lively again, right? Breathe new life into it. But apparently Kuma grew resentful, and that's how he became known as Kuma the Tyrant. This backstory was actually pretty cool because after Kuma being the tyrant, he was exiled, but then he apologized to Bonney, and Lindbergh mentions this is probably after you met Dragon. Actually, Sabo mentioned that. But I guess I enjoyed just how much detail or how much backstory is going or tying into the characters that we already know, whereas it's not changing anything about the current characters. It's just providing more depth as to why some of the things were happening and giving a new light to these characters. To Bonney's plan though, I thought it was very coherent. Because of what happened to her son, she was trying to take down Vegapunk and of course make the world government pay for what they did to her son, meaning they had killed Kuma and turned him into a machine because Bonney did not know the history behind why Kuma did what he did. Even Akainu's comment about her leaving the government and how it sent a chill down his spine, that's all tied in here. And it's pretty much because of her history. There's also reason behind Bonney's new identity. Apparently a buster call happened in the Sorbet Kingdom, and so she was forced to adopt a new identity. The government hid the incident, so they used a false name and gave her a modest bounty. So the thing is, they were covering it up. They couldn't give her an astounding bounty because then she would stand out, but they gave her a modest bounty to keep her, to make it seem realistic, but also keep her at bay. I was thinking, why not kill her? Because she's the only person that can talk about this stuff, but the story must go on, right? I like what they did as well with Lindbergh, basically saying Kuma sacrificed himself, but they have a chip, a particular chip saved with the actual Kuma. So if they put this chip into him, he'll be back to normal, which gives him hope, specifically Bonney, but also a reason for the revolutionaries to keep fighting. We can't forget, Dragon is here. The objective of Sabo and the revolutionaries, excluding Dragon, is to declare war on the celestial dragons and to assassinate the 5 elders. We're not sure exactly what Dragon is trying to accomplish. However, with everything focused on Dragon and Sabo and those guys, they mentioned this would be the perfect opportunity for Bonney to sneak into the city and to save Kuma. I love the tidbit in there about the admirals because we know the admirals are going to be there. So just the rules as far as like it being a state of alarm and who's allowed to enter, just a neat addition. And also, as they mentioned, push come to shove, they would use Kuma's powers to make an escape, assuming that they find him. So Bonney is actually a key cog to this plan. Fujitora and Greenbull, an amazing face reveal. If Greenbull looks anything like this, I will be pleased because he looks badass, right? The fleet admiral calling is cool as well because Greenbull was asked to remove Fujitora from Marijoa. So him talking about that is actually pretty funny. Hearing Fujitora's dialogue about the Warlord system is a breath of fresh air because this is what I wanted. I wanted to know how he felt about it. How did he make his pitch? How did they receive it? What happened? What were they thinking? Why did they approve it? And we got all of that here. I mean, it makes a ton of sense. And that cool description about the pacifistas, as far as why Vegapunk called it the pacifistas, because they are the ones that would bring us true peace. I love that. That was actually brilliant. I really did enjoy that. The Gorosei's dialogue was pretty extensive here, and I think it was absolutely necessary, where they talk about the SSG project and why they've decided to abolish the Warlord system. The main reason, apparently, is because the Warlords, they're not obedient, right? They're barely reliable, and with these SSG soldiers, they would do their bidding, right? Whatever they want, they would do. I love the hint towards Imu's God complex, saying that because they're playing God by trying to incorporate devil fruits with these robots and SSG, he would not like that, right? And he would consider it sacrilege. So I suppose this is a small representation of how Imu views himself. The tale at the end was so well written, it feels like canon. The Gorosei, they're going down into Tartarus. This is meant to hold the world's darkest secrets. Tartarus is mentioned in a bunch of different anime, but I think it's used brilliantly here. The tale goes into almost a spin-off of the Bible, where at first the kingdom's ruler was called Adam, right? There's once a kingdom, the greatest kingdom the world has ever seen, and the ruler was called Adam. Adam had the voice of all things, and that garnered him the epithet Joy Boy. Joy Boy met with the goddess Mother Sea, and they had children, Uranus, Poseidon, and Pluton. And apparently, and because of the voice of all things what Joy Boy had and Mother Sea, this led to Uranus, Poseidon, and Pluton. This is cool as well because we know that Joy Boy and Shirahoshi, I guess of the past, the former Poseidon, they had a relationship. So I like that this is the originator of that entire thing. Just really good. Joy Boy fell to the temptations of the sea devil, right? So this is like a play on the Bible, like Adam and Eve thing. The thing is though, Eve was the one who fell victim to it. So it's like now is the man who fell victim to it. And of course he got power, but he took on the image of the devil. And then it became a battle of the Mother Sea versus Adam, right? The newly formed Adam. It's basically explaining the origins of devil fruits because the great kingdom sank into the sea and Joy Boy with it. And because of this, Mother Sea was hurt, but she placed a curse on those who ate the devil fruits, basically saying that they're cursed. And if they set a foot in her domain, which is the sea, she would strangle them. That's why devil fruit users are rendered useless in water or in the sea. That's really good. That's a really good tie-in. Also, the 20 heroes that fought with Mother Sea, she entrusted the world to them, and more than likely those are the 20 kingdoms that now rule the world. Of course, they were different people, more noble people, but they were entrusted with the world. I mean, the history this is breaking down is absolutely riveting. I think it's also a crazy shock because they're saying they're the new generation of elders, but when they revealed that they have the devil fruit tree and it was named Eve, it was perfect. I think it's a really great way to wrap it up. The world government being in control of something like this, it makes sense. Them knowing the true history, everything that happened, having the devil fruit tree is something that's been speculated, and seeing it come to fruition here in this project, it's amazing. It's really well done. I absolutely love that. The only question now is, where do we go from here? Do we see Vegapunk? Like, what's next for this story? We found out so much, and it's really deepening the lore of what we know about One Piece right now. Oh man, the only thing is you wish it was canon, right? That's how good it is. It's really really freaking good as far as like just building the story and the character interactions. That's like my favorite thing so far. Fujitora and Greenwood was great. The Revolutionaries and Bonney is amazing. I just loved the interactions, and it makes it feel real. It makes it feel like they're actual characters or they're actual people instead of just characters on a page, right? It feels really great. So guys, give me your thoughts. What do you think about chapter 2? I thought it was really well done, really great. A lot of build up. I can't wait for next chapter. Go check out the libraryofahara.com. That's where the chapters are. Even if you haven't read chapter 1, go to the libraryofahara.com. It will have it there. Again, shout out to the creators, Arthur, who is the writer, editor, and producer, the owner of the libraryofahara.com, who put this entire project together. But this wouldn't be possible without the help of the artist and designer, Professor Gemini, on Twitter, Tina Fate. The art is fantastic. It is so clean. So shout out to her. And then also the guest cover page artist, Rashad. His Twitter will be shown as well. So guys, just support the project. Give feedback. If you have constructive criticism, leave that as well. But give me your thoughts. I really enjoyed this chapter. This was a really good chapter. And if this is a fill-in for the actual One Piece chapters, I think we'll be okay. But again, give me your thoughts. Like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, because we will be covering every single chapter of this project. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.